Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, strategy, how you actually win.
Right. And we're looking at it through a really interesting lens, the book Playing to Win, How Strategy Really Works.
Yeah, by A.G. Lafley and Roger L. Martin. Lafley, the former P&G CEO who turned things around.
And Martin, a top business thinker from the Rotman School, they really collaborated on this.
They did, and they kind of bottled up what they learned turning P&G around and laid it out for us.
And what's great is it's not just about reacting to stuff. It's proactive, a framework to actually shape your future.
Exactly. It's about making choices, not just getting lucky.
Smart choices, interconnected ones.
Right. And the core idea is that strategy isn't some huge, scary monolith. It's actually a sequence, 5 key choices.
They call it the strategic choice cascade, like a waterfall, one flowing into the next.
Okay, so what are these 5 choices?
What starts with, what is our winning aspiration? What does winning even look like?
Okay.
Then, where will we play? Like, what's our field?
Got it.
Followed by, how will we win? What's our edge there?
Makes sense.
Then, what core capabilities do we need? What skills, really?
Right.
And finally, what management systems are required? How do we support all this? Keep it going.
That cascade idea is powerful. So let's jump into that first one, the winning aspiration.
Okay.
The book just lays it out there. Winning should be at the heart of any strategy.
Oh.
Seems obvious, maybe?
You'd think so, but they argue that just like participating, showing up, that's basically setting yourself up to fail. Or at least not succeed meaningfully.
So you have to aim to win. Define what winning means for you.
Absolutely. That aspiration becomes your North Star. It guides all the other choices. It's not just about growth or survival. It's about being excellent in a specific space.
And they stress this isn't just for giants like P&G, right?
Oh, definitely not. It's crucial for small businesses, nonprofits, even, individuals mapping out their careers. We'll use P&G examples because they're so close.
But the principles apply everywhere.
Exactly. They're universal.
Okay, so digging into winning aspiration. It's the purpose, the mission, but strategically framed.
Precisely. What does winning actually look like for this organization? What's the big ambition?
And they make this really interesting point about focusing on people, not just money.
Yeah, customers. They bring in Peter Drucker, who said the purpose of a business is to create a customer.
That reframes it, doesn't it?
It really does. It's not just about the stock price.
Think about those mission statements we know. Starbucks, nurturing the human spirit, 1 cup at a time.
Right. Or Nike inspiration and innovation for every athlete.
And they add that note. If you have a body, you're an athlete.
Exactly. Even McDonald's being the customer's favorite place. It's about serving people, connecting.
Not just maximizing profit in the short term.
Right. And that aspiration, centered on the customer, provides the foundation. It gives context for where you'll play, how you'll win, if you don't know what winning is and who it's for.
How can you make the right choices later?
You can't. Not effectively.
They contrast this winning idea with just participating, using GM's Saturn division as an example. Remember Saturn?
Yeah. Lots of buzz. Loyal owners initially.
But it never really achieved the scale it needed.
Exactly. The book calls it a major automotive fiasco. Despite happy customers, the winning aspiration in the broader market wasn't quite there or wasn't achieved.
So it's not just a fuzzy mission statement, it's a strategic drive to really excel, to make an impact for your customer.
That's the key. To not just exist, but to win. Meaningfully.
Okay, so that's the aspiration set. Step 2, where to play. This is about choosing your battlefield, right?
Yep. Defining the playing field. Which customers, which channels, geographies, product categories, you have to make choices.
And P&G's story shows this clearly during their big turnaround.
They got very deliberate, focused on their core, strongest brands, key geographies with potential. The main channels where people bought their stuff, big retailers, drugstores.
They also homed in on core technologies.
Right, technologies they could leverage across different products. And, crucially, understanding their key consumers, the ones who mattered most.
But they also expanded their where to play, didn't they? Pushing into beauty, health, personal care.
Yes, and expanding into emerging markets, seeing that growth potential. It wasn't just about hunkering down. It was smart expansion, too.
But it's complex. The book uses P&G's family care paper towels, tissues, as an example of how where to play differs.
Exactly. What worked in North America didn't just translate easily. Europe, Asia, Latin America, lots of overcapacity, strong private labels, Hard to stand out.
And in emerging markets, maybe less willingness to pay a premium.
Right. So even a strong brand like Bounty didn't automatically have the same advantage everywhere. You have to understand the specific market
It's
dynamics.
just where to play isn't just picking a spot on the map. It's understanding if you could actually win there.
And the book warns about three dangers here. First, trying to play everywhere, spreading yourself too thin.
Refusing to choose.
Second, trying to buy your way out of a bad choice, just throwing money at a problem market.
Hoping investment fixes a fundamental issue.
And third, the big one, assuming where you play now is fixed forever, getting stuck.
That one hits home, right? Comfort zones.
Definitely. But look at Apple. From desktops,
Out to iPods, iPhones, a totally different playing field.
a massive shift in where to play. Or Thomson Corporation newspapers to Thomson Reuters, online information, almost unrecognizable.
Wow. So these choices can and maybe should evolve dramatically,
They can, even within a brand like Tide. It started in laundry.
but expanded its where to play into different channels, drugstores, club stores.
Exactly. And different formats. While always reinforcing that core cleaning power, it got stronger by playing smartly in more places.
Then there's the Swiffer story. That's fascinating. P&G's household cleaners were falling behind.
Yeah, consumer needs were changing, fewer hard surfaces, competitors innovating. So they stepped back, re-examined where to play based on, really understanding the consumer and their own capabilities.
And that led to Swiffer, a completely new way to play in cleaning.
A consumer-led blockbuster, they call it. Focused on convenience, ease of use. Solved a different problem than traditional mops. Huge success.
It shows that challenging your assumptions about where you should play can open up massive opportunities.
Absolutely. Don't just dismiss things as too risky. A fresh look, grounded in the customer and what you're good at, can be transformative.
So where to play is also about deciding where not to play, creating focus.
Exactly. It comes down to those two core questions. Where will you play and how will you win there?
Perfect segue. Choice number 3, how to win. So you've picked your playground. Now, how do you actually beat the competition there?
This is your competitive advantage, and it has to be tailored, specific to you, and importantly, hard for others to just copy.
For P&G, what was their how to win?
Deep consumer understanding, building differentiated brands. Those were key. They win by nurturing those brands, constant product innovation.
Leveraging their global scale.
Yes, scale for efficiency, and strong go-to-market partnerships with retailers and suppliers. Getting products on shelves effectively.
The liquid Tide example illustrates this well, right? They didn't just kill the powder.
No, that was smart strategy. They expanded the playing field to make room for both, initially positioning liquid Tide as more premium.
Giving it space to grow.
Exactly, until it eventually became dominant. They managed the transition to win the market, not just launch a product.
It really shows how to win is strategic maneuvering, not just having a slightly better widget.
Right. And again, where to play and how to win are totally linked. They have to reinforce each other.
Your where decisions depend on your ability to win there, and your how strategy has to fit the where.
You got it. They're two sides of the same coin, really. Can't think about one without the other.
Okay, aspiration, where to play, how to win. Now, choice 4. Core capabilities. What are these exactly?
These are the essential things your organization needs to be really good at to support your where and how choices. The activities, the process.
And they need to be, what, feasible, distinctive, and defensible.
That's the framework. Feasible, you can actually build or get them. Distinctive, they set you apart. Defensible, hard for competitors to replicate.
So what are P&G's core capabilities?
They identify 5. Deep consumer understanding, innovation R&D, brand building marketing muscle, go-to-market ability sales and distribution, and global scale.
And the key is how they work together, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's the system. A great lab idea needs great branding, needs great distribution, needs consumer insight to make it relevant. That whole integrated system is the real advantage.
Like the Olay example, repositioning it.
Perfect example. They used consumer understanding to see the anti-aging opportunity for younger women, used R&D and scale for better products at good prices, used brand building and go-to-market skills to launch it effectively.
It was the combination of capabilities.
Exactly. That synergy is what makes it powerful and hard to copy.
The book also talks about capabilities at the corporate level, right? How they should help the business units.
Yes. Corporate capabilities, like P&G's centralized global business services for IT or HR, should add value, give an edge to the individual brands.
And this influences decisions about which businesses to even be in.
Right. Does a business fit with and benefit from the company's core capabilities? If not, maybe you prune it. If yes, maybe you expand.
They mention mergers often fail because of this lack of real capability synergy.
That's a big reason. Just putting two companies together doesn't automatically create value if their core strengths don't mesh or enhance each other.
And building these capabilities takes time and investment, like P&G's Connect plus Develop or their global services.
Definitely. It's not instant. You identify what you need to win, then you invest and build those strengths deliberately. Others might have some similar skills.
But it's the whole integrated system that sets a company like P&G apart.
That's the goal. A unique activity system that delivers on your where and how in a way competitors struggle to match.
Okay, final piece of the cascade, number 5, management systems. What does this cover?
This is about the structures, the processes, the tools that actually support all the choices and capabilities. Think planning, budgeting, performance reviews, organizational design, compensation, the plumbing almost.
The stuff that makes it all work day to day.
Exactly. And P&G had to overhaul theirs. Their old strategy reviews weren't really strategic, more like superficial check-ins.
The book mentions leaders just trying to not get humiliated.
Yeah, or even being told to avoid talking about strategy, to avoid tough questions, that get in and get out approach.
Not exactly fostering deep thinking.
Not at all. So they revamped it, focused on inquiry, real dialogue about the strategy's effectiveness, its competitiveness. Not interrogation, but productive discussion.
It caused some anxiety at first, I bet.
Oh, sure, change is hard. But eventually people saw the value. Better discussions led to better decisions, better results.
They also used a framework for these talks, OGSM.
Right, objectives, goals, strategy, measures. But they specifically adapted it to build in the where to play and how to win choices explicitly. Made sure everyone was on the same page strategically.
And they changed compensation, too. Moved away from just market TSR.
Yeah, shifted focus towards operating TSR, a better reflection of internal performance, less swayed by market whims, aligned incentives, better with strategy.
And that metric, WPI, willingness to pay, increase. That sounds interesting.
It was a way to measure if they were actually creating value that consumers recognized and were willing to pay a bit more for. A direct link to winning with the customer.
So the message is, these systems aren't just admin. They have to be designed to actively support the strategy.
Critically important.
Yeah.
Tailored to your context, your capabilities, your choices. Without the right systems, the best strategy can just fall flat.
Okay, we've walked through the whole cascade. Aspiration, where, how, capabilities, systems. Now, the really practical part for listeners, how do we actually use this in our jobs, our businesses, our lives?
Yeah, how do we think strategically using this? The book offers a fantastic tool, the what would have to be true question.
Okay, tell me more. Sounds powerful.
It really is. It's a way to generate and, importantly, test strategic options, kind of like reverse engineering your way to a good decision.
So how does it work? Break it down.
First, lay out your potential strategic options, the different paths you could take.
Okay.
Then, for each one, ask, for this to be a winning choice, what conditions would absolutely, positively have to be true? List every assumption.
Everything that needs to hold up for it to work.
Exactly. Then, look at those lists of conditions. Identify the barrier conditions. Which ones feel shakiest, least likely to be true? Those are your biggest hurdles.
Find the weak spots in the argument for each option.
Precisely. And then, the crucial step. Design small, focused tests, specifically for those barrier conditions. Go find out if they're actually true or not.
So you're not debating endlessly, you're testing the most critical assumptions.
Right. And as you test, the most robust option, the one whose key conditions hold up best under scrutiny, usually becomes pretty clear.
The Olay Mastige example again, how did they use this?
They asked what would have to be true for that whole repositioning younger audience, anti-aging new mastige category in mass retail to work.
Okay, what were some barrier conditions they identified?
Well, like, is there really a big enough group of women worried about multiple signs of aging? Will they actually buy a premium-ish product in, say, a drugstore? Will retailers even play ball and create this new shelf space?
And can P&G make a product good enough, price it right below luxury, but still make money?
Those are the big questions. By identifying them upfront and then testing them, market research, pilot programs, retailer talks, they could make a much smarter bet on Olay, reduce the uncertainty massively.
And they say encourage skepticism during this process.
Yes, but constructive skepticism, not just that'll never work. Instead, okay, for me to believe this could work, this specific thing would have to be true. It forces clarity on the real barriers.
Leads to better tests, better conversations.
Definitely. They even joke about the lazy person's approach. Test the most doubtful assumption first. If that one fails spectacularly,
You might kill that option quickly and save a ton of effort.
exactly. Focus your testing energy where the doubt is highest.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
The book has stories of this being used all over P&G.
Yeah, refining research, making better choices in different divisions. It's a practical, powerful way to think.
And the overall message is strategy isn't static, right? It has to evolve.
Constantly. Even winners have to keep refining, sharpening, changing. The quote is great. All companies need to evolve their strategies to stay competitive and ultimately to win year after year.
It's a continuous process.
And fundamentally, they remind us there are two basic ways to win. Low cost.
Or differentiation. Offering something unique people will pay more for. Knowing which game you're playing is key to aligning everything else.
So wrapping up this deep dive into playing to win, the core idea is strategy as those 5 integrated choices.
Winning aspiration. Where to play. How to win. Core capabilities. Management systems. All linked.
And the need for a winning mindset, making deliberate choices, not just drifting.
And that what would have to be true question seems like a really actionable takeaway for anyone listening.
Absolutely. We hope listeners will think about those 5 questions for themselves. What's your winning aspiration? Where are you choosing to play? How will you win there? What capabilities do you need? What systems support your goals?
So, a final thought to leave everyone with. Pick a big decision you're facing right now. Ask yourself, what would have to be true for my preferred path to succeed? What are the big assumptions? And maybe, just maybe, what's the one critical assumption you could actually test, even in a small way, this week?
That's the challenge. Strategy isn't just for CEOs. It's a discipline for everyone. And Lafley and Martin, with Lafley's decades leading P&G and Martin's deep strategic insight, have given us a fantastic framework to practice it.